Welcome into the PFF College Football Show. Max Chadwick alongside Dalton Wasserman here with a very special episode, giving out the PFF College Football Awards and also unveiling the PFF All-American team for the 2025 season. Dalton, we are already heading into the college football playoff right now, so we're going to look back on the year so far and kind of go over the best players, coaches, and teams from college football so far.
It's so great to just recognize all of the great players, units of some of these awards, and coaches with some of these awards throughout the country have done such a great job. Because the focus, obviously, at this time of the year is who's going to win the national championship, who's going to be the last team left standing. But there are so many guys on both of these lists who have made such great accomplishments this year, really raised their profile, raised their draft stock in some cases, and just certain guys that we have a lot looking forward to next year to see them play again, see if they can repeat with some of these awards, but a lot of outstanding performances in college football this year.
General manager and draft expert Walt is in the house right now. He's asking who's going to win the Butkus Award, who's going to win the Ray Guy Award, who's going to win the Blitnikoff Award, Ted Hendricks Award. We're going to answer all those questions, Walt, here live on the show. Our guy Andrew Harbaugh's in the chat. Beckett Mesco's in the chat. Harbaugh's making a great point, Dalton. You know how we have the mini helmets for previews? We should have the mini awards on the desk, too.
Well, we got to find those. We got to find mini.
Get like a mini Heisman Trophy. It'd be pretty sick.
That you could probably find. It's more the other ones. I mean, are there mini versions of all of the college football awards? Or
mini
can somebody
Joe
make
Moore
that for
Award
us?
would kind of rock,
Wow.
actually. Yeah.
That would be pretty cool, man. We do need that.
We're going to go over all of these awards for you guys today. And for all these awards, basically, we're using PFF stats to come up with the winners for all of these awards. So you can get access to those same stats with a PFF Plus subscription. That is 30% off right now. When you use the promo code HOLIDAY30, you get access to all the same data, grades, and analytics that every single NFL team uses, every single college football team uses as well. And you get access to our 2026 NFL Mock Draft Simulator, where you can draft a lot of the players that are going to win some of these awards today. And, of course, get access to the best fantasy football tools on the planet as you try to win your fantasy football championship, and the best betting tools on the planet as well. Again, 30% off right now for a limited time when you use the promo code HOLIDAY30. All right, let's go to the awards first, Dalton. And let's start off with the Frank Broyles Award, given out to the best assistant coach in college football. Who is our winner of this award?
Our Frank Broyles Award winner for the best assistant coach in college football is Ohio State defensive coordinator Matt Patricia. In his first season as defensive coordinator, replacing Jim Knowles, who departed last offseason to go to Penn State, Patricia comes in and makes this defense even better. Just 106 points allowed in 13 games, just over 8 points per game. No game that he gave up so far 17 points. 16 points or fewer in all 13 games. Even the loss to Indiana was only 13-10. Certainly Ohio State's defense is not at fault for that one, right? You got to score more and just get me over that hump there. But Matt Patricia, just an unbelievable job. Also losing 8 defensive starters from last year's national championship winning team and coming in and having the best scoring defense in college football. Only allowed 4 yards per play this season. Top 6 in the country in defensive grading. 4th in the Power 4. The only reason they were behind the other 3 was a little behind in pass rush grade, but when you're giving up 8 points a game and just putting up a historic performance that this defense did all season and continues to do, Matt Patricia, I think, a well-deserved winner here of the Broyles Award.
Yeah, arguably the best defense in the country, and the fact that they lost so much from that defense, like I said, 8 starters from that defense that are all drafted into the NFL. I mean, we thought the defense for Ohio State, losing Jim Knowles, losing those 8 starters, a lot of them superstars from that defense. We thought they'd take a step back this year. They were even better this year. So Matt Patricia, I think, was at least a pretty easy Broyles Award winner for us. The only coach that beat Patricia and the Ohio State Buckeyes this year is, of course, our winner of Coach of the Year. That is Curt Cignetti from Indiana. Dalton, back-to-back years, Curt Cignetti is Coach of the Year. And usually, Coach of the Year goes to a coach that kind of surprises a lot of people, which is why Cignetti won it last year, because obviously Indiana, who won 9 combined games in the 3 years before they hired Cignetti, they went 11-2 last year. They made the college football playoff. So he was like, okay, cool. Really cool Cinderella run for Curt Cignetti. We entered this year, Dalton, saying, okay, Indiana, we know they're good now, but how good? We thought, okay, now they lost some talent, maybe a top 20 team in the country. How about the number 1 damn team in college football? How about that? That's why Cignetti, once again, is Coach of the Year right now. This guy's already becoming an all-time college football coach in only his first 2 years at Indiana. He was tremendous at James Madison before this, too. Last year, their first 10-win season in program history, and he raised the bar once again this year, the only undefeated team in college football heading into the playoff with a 13-0 record, their first Big Ten title since 1967, and the first number 1 ranking in Indiana history going into the playoff as well. 96.8 overall PFF grade for Indiana. Also the best in the country, the highest graded team in college football. Just the fact that he raised the bar so high last year and he raised the bar even higher this year, Dalton. We might be talking about Indiana as a national champion, which for that program really should not be possible.
No, I mean, honestly, and it's at the top. He's at the top of a list of a lot of great candidates for this award, too. You look at what Joey McGuire's done at Texas Tech, what Mike Elko's done at Texas A&M. I know, despite the way that it's ended here, the job that Lane Kiffin did at Ole Miss this year, 11-1 and into the playoffs, there's a lot of great candidates, but Cignetti finishing his regular season now with the win over Ohio State, winning the Big Ten, being the only undefeated team left, being the number 1 seed here. It's hard not to say it's him. Again, with a lot of great candidates right behind him, even a Bob Chesney, say at James Madison, 12-1 and into the playoff, that program. I mean, you've got so many great candidates, but Cignetti right now, man, what the job that he's doing, and still through 2 years at Indiana, the only 2 teams he lost to were last year's national championship game participants. It's just ridiculous the way he's turned around that program so quickly and the success they're having. They are in the national title race for sure.
So we have Big Ten winners in Assistant Coach of the Year and Coach of the Year, and also, Dalton, a Big Ten team that ran away with the Joe Moore Award given out to the best offensive line in college football.
Max, this one makes me feel really good because this was my preseason prediction to win the Joe Moore Award for college football's best offensive line, the Iowa Hawkeyes. Our guy Donnie Clemens, as he's going to be really happy about that too. Donnie Clemens, man. Jennings Dunker at right tackle, Logan Jones, the superstar center, all across the board. This was the most dominant offensive line in college football week in and week out. PFF grade as a unit almost 10 points higher than any other offensive line in the country. As a team, Iowa was first in run blocking grade, basically wire to wire. It felt like we talked about it anytime we did an Iowa game. It's, hey, can you handle this offensive line? And there weren't a whole lot of teams that were able to do it. Third in pass blocking grade as well. Just an overall dominant unit, veteran leadership, super talented players that are going to be playing in the NFL. And as always, Kirk Ferentz wants a physical team out there on the field. That starts with the heart and soul of his Hawkeye team, the offensive line. What a year they had up front.
Yeah, 94.3 offensive line grade, like Dalton said, is nearly 10 points higher than any other offensive line in the country. Top 3 in run blocking grade and pass blocking grade. No other school in America was in the top 10 for both run blocking grade and pass blocking grade. So yeah, this is maybe the easiest award to give out. Iowa ran away with the Joe Moore Award for us, at least this year. Next up is the Burlsworth Trophy, one of the coolest awards we have in college football, given out to the player who started his career as a walk-on. Actually, he's already been awarded already. Drew Mestemaker, the quarterback from North Texas, won the award. Very deserving, but we here at PFF would have given it to the safety, Michael Taff from Texas, who's been the heartbeat of their secondary over the last couple years. 89.4 coverage grade this year, tied for 5th in the country among all safeties. 88.4 overall PFF grade is 7th in America, too. So Michael Taff, who has been a stud for the Longhorns in their secondary for 2 years in a row now, started his career as a walk-on. He would have been our pick for the Burlsworth Trophy.
Yeah, and Taff was a finalist for the actual Burlsworth award there, too. So both guys really deserving candidates. When you look at Taff, undersized guy, but you're right, he just plays his heart out, man. He's a hometown kid. He just represents everything that is right with that Longhorn defense and everything Pete Kwiatkowski wants to do. Then credit to Mestemaker as well, a guy who wasn't even his starting quarterback in high school. He was playing, wide receiver and safety, was it? So, I mean, you look at those two candidates, both awesome. We go with Taff here, but they're both fantastic football players.
Definitely. And also, I want to shout out, because he's not eligible, I don't think, for the award. Jacob Rodriguez was a walk-on at Texas Tech, but because he started his career at Virginia on scholarship, I believe that's why he was not eligible. I believe you have to start your collegiate career as a walk-on. Rodriguez was not a walk-on. He was on scholarships. Even though he went to Texas Tech as a walk-on, when he transferred there, I don't think he was eligible for this award, but still, as a former walk-on, Rodriguez, I would argue, was the best former walk-on in college football this year. Next up, Dalton, is the Sean Alexander Freshman of the Year award, which apparently includes redshirt freshmen as well as true freshmen, and because of that, there's kind of a runaway winner for us here.
There is a runaway winner, and a guy that until this past week we had as our Heisman favorite throughout the year, but still an outstanding season, Julian Sayin, the quarterback from Ohio State, 78.4% completion rate, highest passing grade in the country. Just did, I think, went even beyond the expectation that you could have possibly had for him as a former five-star prospect. Sat on the bench last year, comes in this year and takes full advantage of that receiving core that he has, the best in America with Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, 93.2 PFF grade. Just Julian Sayin, I would argue the most accurate quarterback in college football this year. I mean, the Heisman race came down to, possibly this last game in the Big Ten championship, and maybe he didn't play his best game, but he was outstanding all season, just gave him consistent performances week in and week out, whether his receivers were hurt, whether they were healthy, on the road, big games, big rivalry games, everything like that. Julian Sayin, just terrific all season long, well-deserving of this award.
Yeah, leads all quarterbacks in PFF grade, and also is over a 78% completion rate. That would be the all-time record if it stands right now, too. Now, if anyone's wondering if it was only for true freshmen, which I think, honestly, this award should only be for true freshmen. But I believe Sean Alexander was a redshirt freshman when he had his dominant years. That's probably why redshirt freshmen are included in this.
A freshman is a freshman.
A freshman is a freshman, I guess. If true freshmen were the only ones considered for this award, we would have given it to Miami wide receiver Malachi Toney, who was unreal this year. We'll talk about him later on in the show too. But Julian Sayin wins it because redshirt freshmen are also included in this award. Not done with Iowa just yet. Not done with the Big Ten just yet. Up next is the Johnny the Jet Rodgers Award, given out to the best return specialist in college football. Caden Weechin, the wide receiver out of Iowa, led all Power 4 players this year with a 90.3 return grade, 4 total return touchdowns, 1 on a kickoff and 3 off of punt returns. If he has another return touchdown in the bowl game against Vanderbilt, I believe that would tie the all-time record for most return touchdowns in a year, because I think the record right now is 5 total return touchdowns combined by kickoffs and punts. So if he gets one more return touchdown in the bowl game, I believe he would tie the all-time record for most return touchdowns in a season.
4 return touchdowns this year, 2 of them last year as well. Just an outstanding threat for Iowa in special teams, and obviously that's a very fundamentally sound team. But when you have a dynamic player like this as your returner, that he can really flip the field, I think this is someone who, if he goes to the NFL, this is going to be the reason he's the best returner in the country this year. And you mentioned it, 4 return touchdowns. If he gets a 5th, outstanding, but 4 alone is just fantastic stuff. So Weechin, really a big-time threat for Iowa all season.
Definitely. All right, let's stay on special teams. And let's leave the Big Ten. We've done Big Ten for 5 of the 6 awards we've done so far. Dalton, who wins the Ray Guy Award for the best punter in college football?
Best punter in the country. Man, we'll go with the highest graded punter in the country. Out there at Hawaii, we've talked about them even with your midseason All-America team, right? How Hawaii's played such great special teams all year. Billy Gowers, the punter, 93.6 punting grade this year, 4.24 second average hang time, 5th best in the country, and more than half of his punts landed inside the 20-yard line. He's been terrific for Hawaii all year. It was a big reason they had a really good year out there in the Mountain West, that their special teams was a dominant unit. Billy Gowers, Ray Guy Award, well-deserved.
Absolutely. A 29-year-old true freshman right now. He's 29 years old at Hawaii right now.
You could have made him the Alexander Award winner. You
Actually,
could have.
He really was. He probably really was a candidate for this, but this is a guy who played a lot of, I believe, rugby before, too, in Australian football league as well. So he played a lot of Australian football league and then actually joined Hawaii this year. So yeah, he's a 29-year-old true freshman at Hawaii, but he has been the best punter in college football this year. We almost went with the Hawaii kicker as well, Dalton, for the Lou Groza Award, given out to the best place kicker in college football. Really wanted to give it out to the Tokyo Toe and Kansei Matsuzawa, who was fantastic for Hawaii as their kicker this year. But if you look at the numbers, man, Tate Sandell, what a freaking year this kid is having at Oklahoma right now. 97.8 kicking grade for Sandell this year. That would be the single season PFF record if it stands, because of course he plays in the playoff against Alabama in the first round. So He transferred in from UTSA. Dalton has made all 32 of his extra points. He has made 23 of his 24 field goals this year. And how about this stat? He has made all 7 of his field goals from 50-plus yards this year. This kid is 7 for 7 from 50-plus yards this year. Again, if his grade stands right now, it would be the highest graded season that we've ever seen from a kicker. And we started doing this back in 2014 too. So love Matsuzawa, love the Tokyo Toe, but Tate Sandell and what he's doing right now at Oklahoma is special stuff.
And think about how important he is to a team that is built on its defense and is built on the margins, and they're always in low-scoring games. To have a weapon like this, who's, like you mentioned, 7 of 7 on 50-plus yard kicks, 3 for 3 in the Tennessee game alone on 50-plus yard kicks. This is somebody who's so important. And when you're trying to win these tight, close-knit games that Brent Venables always has this team in, right? Their offense has struggled, but you only have to get to a certain area of the field to give Sandell a shot. That's a big advantage, and Brent Venables can go ahead and just be like, hey, listen, I got faith in this kicker. And not a lot of teams, you know how hard it is with college kickers sometimes to have faith in them consistently week in and week out. Sandell is a true weapon and a very, very important part of this Oklahoma team, and a big reason they made the playoff, if we're being honest.
And I'll tell you what, right now, what could be a very low-scoring game in that first-round matchup against Alabama, Tate Sandell could be an X factor in that game for Oklahoma in that one too. So, yeah, he is in the midst of, like I said, the greatest year we've ever seen from a college kicker at PFF. Next up, the Paul Hornung Award, given out to the most versatile player in college football. It's named the Paul Hornung Award, Dalton. You could also kind of rename it to the Travis Hunter Award, too, with how versatile he was during college. But who is this year's Paul Hornung Award winner?
All right, so we're going back to the traditional sense of this award, where it's maybe not an offensive/defensive player. We're going to go with an offensive player and a really good punt returner as well. A guy we've talked about a lot this season, playing on a playoff team at Texas A&M, the wide receiver, KC Concepcion. When you look at first of all, what he's done as a receiver for that team, 83.2 receiving grade, leads the SEC, 886 receiving yards. And then as a punt returner, 2 touchdowns this year, averaging over 19 yards per punt return. Just a ridiculous number when you think about the impact 2 ways that KC Concepcion has on this Texas A&M team. It's a huge reason they are where they are. Him along with Mario Craver in that receiving core, huge reason for the success. But he could be a potential first-round pick with his speed, explosiveness, and versatility, and he's been outstanding in both facets all year.
Yeah, leads the SEC in receiving grade, second in the Power 4 in return grade 2, and then also he has a rushing touchdown for Texas A&M, as if that's not enough for the Aggies either. Next up in our awards is the Jim Thorpe Award, given out to the best defensive back in college football. A lot of guys that we could have went with here, Dalton. Mansour Delane had a terrific year at LSU. We went with the guy that we had as the number 1 corner going into the year, and he kind of proved us right this year too. Leonard Moore, the corner from Notre Dame. 92 PFF grade, tied for the best among all corners in college football, and also leads all Power 4 defensive backs in college football, whether it be corners or safeties. 5 interceptions, tied for the most in the country. He also has only allowed a 46 passer rating into his coverage this year too. Leonard Moore was a superstar in that secondary for Notre Dame, and I can promise you right now, he entered his sophomore year as the best corner in the country. He will enter his junior year as the best corner in the country.
He is the best corner in the country. We're going to say it a lot again for one more year with Notre Dame. If you're playing against that team, do not throw it at number 15. It is that simple. It is not worth your time. It's not going to work. Man-to-man, zone coverage, intercepting the ball, anything you could ask for out of a cornerback. This kid is absolutely special. We're going to talk about him very, very highly in the 2027 NFL draft with that great draft class we got coming. But boy, oh boy, Leonard Moore, that's the best thing I can say. I've been saying it all year, and we're going to say it for another year. Do not throw it number 15. It is not worth it as an opposing offense.
Definitely. All right, so the next 2 awards actually will be guys that we talk about later on in the show for more awards too. We'll just go over them real quickly. The Buckus Award, given out to the best linebacker in the country. Jacob Rodriguez, of course, ran away with this award. He actually won the award in real life too. He wins this award for us. He's been the best linebacker in college football this year. And his teammate wins the Ted Hendricks Award for the best defensive end in college football, and David Bailey, the edge rusher at Texas Tech. Before we move on to the rest of these awards, want to talk about the sponsor of the show. That is Western and Southern. Our game plan of the week is presented by Western and Southern Financial Group, a game plan for your financial future. again, I got to go back to some of the game plans that we saw this past week, Dalton, in the conference title games with Georgia blitzing Ty Simpson a lot and just completely shutting down the Alabama offense because of it. Loved what I saw from Glenn Schumann and Kirby Smart in that defensive matchup for Georgia. And just like their win, every team win starts with a game plan, great game plan, and your future should too. With life insurance built like a championship roster, Western and Southern helps protect you and your family so you can focus on winning today, knowing tomorrow is covered. Whether you're just starting out, building your dynasty, or looking to lock in long-term protection, their coverage options are designed to match your game plan. Visit westernsouthern.com/PFF to get your free life quote and start building your financial game plan today. Western and Southern, built to win, backed by over 130 years of helping people protect what matters most. All right, let's go back to Iowa, Dalton. Plenty of Hawkeyes coming home with awards today, and another one here in the Remington Award for the best center in the country.
Absolutely. You're talking about Logan Jones, the center, second in the nation in pass blocking grade, a 90.1 pass blocking grade, 79.1 run blocking grade, third best in the country, and it just shows you, again, the job that the offensive coordinator, Tim Lester, has done putting in this outside zone scheme with this offensive line, all the talent, all the athleticism he has up front with this Iowa team. Logan Jones, the pivot, right at the center, the leader of the best offensive line in the country, well deserving of being the best center and being named the best center in the country with the Remington Award. He's just been terrific all season front to back.
Yeah, highest graded center in the Power 4 last year, highest graded center in the country this year, too. Only center in the country with top 5 grades as a pass blocker and run blocker. All right, mentioned before, we'll get to David Bailey again, and here he is right now for the Rotary Lombardi Award given out to the best lineman in college football. Now, I want to say right now, was not aware that linebackers were also included in this award. I would have given it to his teammate in Jacob Rodriguez if I knew that. But I want to shout out David Bailey, too, for what he did this year. He has been the most productive pass rusher in college football, leading the country with 14 sacks and 74 pressures. He also has a 93.6 pass rush grade, the best in America, and 35 defensive stops, too, are tied for fourth among Power 4 edge rushers. So, again, a guy who has been the best pass rusher, I would argue, in college football this year, and also got a lot better as a run defender from what he was at Stanford when he transferred into Texas Tech, too. David Bailey is going to be a top 15 to 20 pick in the draft, really because of how dominant he was this year.
Just unbelievable all year. We talked in the preseason about this Texas Tech defensive line and how much potential that they had coming into the year with all the transfers they brought in, Bailey being the one from Stanford who was so good last year there despite not a great situation around him there. But it's just dominant. It's just a dominant unit that week in and week out, no matter who they're playing against, they're unblockable. And Bailey is the first reason for that. The speed coming off of the edge, the pressure he can generate on any play. And Texas Tech, they're so good. It's the highest compliment you could pay to a defensive line. They don't have to blitz at all, right? He leads the nation 74 pressures. It's 8 more than anybody else. 14 sacks this year, 20 quarterback hits. He's just been ridiculous when it comes to the output, the pressure he's been able to generate on quarterbacks. And then again, that's a really good unit you're talking about there with Romello Height, with whenever he gets healthy, Skylar Gill-Howard, with Lee Hunter there. He's been really good on the inside. So you're talking about a player and a unit that is really dangerous heading in, and they're going to be one of the last 8 teams standing in college football. David Bailey's a huge reason for that.
Again, if I knew linebackers were included, I would have given it to his teammate in Jacob Rodriguez. But
he's getting enough.
We're going to get to him. We'll get to him later on too. Answer Walt's question real quick in the chat, asking where will Logan Jones go in the draft. He's projected right now as a day 3 pick. I think whoever gets him on day 3 is getting a steal, though. I think there's some size concerns with Logan Jones, but this guy's a superstar.
Yes, size concerns, and I think if it's me, I think he's one of those guys that I think when Trevor comes out with the team boards, there's going to be teams that run that Shanahan-style system, the outside zone scheme. They're going to have him a lot higher. I think about a system like why wouldn't Clint Kubiak and the Seattle Seahawks draft him, right? See if you can get another center going there. The Atlanta Falcons, even the 49ers, if they want to, just develop a guy long-term. I think all of those Iowa offensive linemen, when you talk about that Shanahan-style scheme, even guys, like Jennings Dunker at right tackle, we're going to be talking about those guys. If they get in the right system fit, they can be NFL starters. So Jones, yeah, he's undersized. There's going to be people who are concerned with whether or not he can pass protect. But again, the road that you see a player like that on the positive side going down is maybe if high end if he ends up something like Drew Dahlman, right? Who got in the right system in Atlanta, and now look at the money he's making and look at the dominant way he's playing with the Bears. That's what you're looking for, is that outside zone scheme. The scheme fit will be a big thing for him.
I'm not saying he's as good as this guy, but I do remember an undersized Iowa center in Tyler Linderbaum too. And how he turned out.
That guy was special. Still is. I mean, that was a special level when you're talking about Tyler Linderbaum. But again, you find the right place, especially as an offensive lineman with the right system in the NFL, you can have that level of success.
So to answer your question, probably a 4th or 5th round pick, Logan Jones, but he's a guy that would fit like in an outside zone system. I think that some teams would be very high on him too, and he could be a starting center, I think, in the NFL. And like I said before, highest graded center in the Power 4 last year, highest graded center in the country this year too. Logan Jones has been dominant for that Iowa offensive line recently. All right, so we'll actually move on, Dalton, to the Outland Trophy, given out to the best interior lineman in the country. All offensive linemen are eligible, and also defensive tackles are eligible for this award as well. So who do you want to give this award to?
How about let's go down, speaking of teams that can really run the football, let's go down to Missouri, Columbia, Missouri. Keegan Trost, their right tackle. What a job he did. And look, the big shoes he had to fill too, right? With Armand Membu being a top 10 pick in the draft, and you're talking about a guy who had a great year at Missouri, opening up holes for Ahmad Hardy and their great run game all year. 91.3 PFF grade, 2.6 points higher than any other offensive lineman in college football. 90.5 run blocking grade. Another guy who just mastered this outside zone scheme, and they teach it so well down there at Missouri. Only 9 pressures allowed in pass protection all year as well. Keegan Trost and really that entire Missouri offensive line. If you were picking maybe a runner-up to the Joe Moore Award, they might be in the running there between them. The Oregon Ducks are really good too. But Trost and Caden Green on the other side, both the tackle, were outstanding all year for the Tigers. Really well deserving of this award. Best interior lineman in the country.
Yeah, terrific player. He took over, obviously, for Armand Membu, who was a top 10 pick to the Jets. Transferred in from Wake Forest, Keegan Trost did, and he was basically as dominant as Membu was in his last year at Missouri too. So yeah, very well deserved. Keegan Trost was phenomenal this year. John Mackey Award for the best tight end in the country. We shouted this out preseason, said this guy's the best tight end in the country, and well, he proved us right this year. Eli Stowers, the tight end from Vanderbilt, 769 receiving yards. That is 75 more than any other tight end in the country. 81.9 PFF grade, is 3rd among all tight ends in the country. Former 4-star recruit, also led all the tight ends in the country with 377 yards after the catch. And Diego Pavia is going to be a Heisman Trophy finalist, and a big reason why is Eli Stowers.
No, absolutely. And he came on late, got raging hot down the stretch. Big 146-yard game against Texas, 122 against Auburn. They needed every bit of that to win that game. And look, he was the favorite for us coming into this year to win this award. Had another great year, and Diego Pavia, obviously a Heisman finalist, had a great year, and that passing game got a lot better. But Stowers was still the best player on their offense aside from Pavia, and the chemistry that he has going back to the New Mexico State days with Pavia really came in handy, in a great year for Vanderbilt with that 10-2 record.
Absolutely. All right, next up, the Biletnikoff Award, given out to the best receiver in college football, which includes wide receivers, tight ends, even running backs, I believe, are included too. Whoever's the best pass catcher in college football. Dalton, who wins that award this year?
Well, there's a lot of really great candidates, but we got to go with the guy that we have with the highest receiving grade. Finishes this year with the highest receiving grade in the country, 91.3. USC's Makai Lemon, 79 catches, 1,156 yards, 11 touchdowns. And the crazier part to me, you look at the contested catches. It felt like him and Jacoby Lane for USC all year were making catches that you had no idea how they were going to do it. And Lane, it makes sense. He's 6'5". He can get up in the red zone. He can do those things. Makai Lemon, how about 10 of 15 on contested targets this year, despite him being, 5'11", maybe, right? I mean, he just goes up, catches the football. Great moments against Illinois later in the year. I believe it was against Iowa when him and Lane just took the game over. Makai Lemon was outstanding all year. Also 20 missed tackles forced this season after the catch. This guy's going to be a first-round pick. And teams who are valuing slot receivers more than ever, they need to be looking into Makai Lemon. He's a great route runner, contested catch monster, really good after the catch, great hands. I mean, only 2 drops all season as well for all the targets he gets. I mean, just a terrific year. A close race between him and, of course, Ohio State's Jeremiah Smith, but Makai Lemon wins it for us, the Biletnikoff.
Yeah, again, highest graded receiver in the country and the most receiving yards in the Power 4, too. That's a pretty good recipe to win a Biletnikoff award. He was phenomenal this year. Jay Thomas and Chad Dalton is actually upset that we didn't shout out Peter Clark, the tight end from Temple, who was phenomenal this year. I believe the highest grade tight end in the country for us, too. He was close to winning this award, but we had to go with Eli Stowers.
He was good. Tanner Koziol from Houston is another guy I want to shout out. He was at the transfer in from Ball State. He was outstanding. He would be in the running for that, too, but I think Stowers is a well-deserved winner there.
So we were right about Eli Stowers being the best tight end in the country. This one wasn't very hard either. The best running back in the country, the Doak Walker Award. Of course, Jeremiah Love, the Heisman finalist from Notre Dame. Again, he was the number one running back for us and for basically anyone. We can't take credit for that. Everyone had this guy as the number one running back in the country going into the year, and he has been exactly that this year for the Fighting Irish. 92.9 PFF grade, the best in the nation among all running backs in America. 39 explosive runs are tied for third among all running backs in the nation. And he's third among all FBS backs with 1,652 total yards from scrimmage this year. Jeremiah Love is a special running back, and he's going to be probably a top 15 pick for how good he is.
I mean, he's unbelievable, right? I mean, you talk about leading the nation in rushing grade. Imagine he's only 20th in carries. Imagine if he had gotten 60 to 80 more carries, and Notre Dame really needed him to be the workhorse on that level. Obviously, they have Jadarian Price who can take some of the load off him, and you're keeping Jeremiah Love healthy. Well, I was going to actually, you know what? I forgot. Controversial. They didn't make it, but they were trying to keep Jeremiah Love healthy for a playoff run. That didn't happen. But either way, best back in the country. I think you got a close second behind him in Ahmad Hardy from Missouri, but Love is well deserving of this award. I mean, he came into the year as the best back in college football. He's leaving the year as the best back in college football. He's going to be the first pick the first running back taken in this upcoming draft. So just again, just an outstanding running game for Notre Dame as they always have. And Love is a special and explosive player that's going to be taken high in the draft this April.
Yep. Davey O'Brien Award goes out to Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback from Indiana. We're not done with him yet, though, so we're going to hold his analysis just for a second. Dalton, the guy who already won the Bednarik Award, I believe, and for the best defensive player in college football, the Bednarik Award, and also the Nagurski Trophy, given out to the best defensive player in college football. Who has been the best defender this year?
I could not agree more with the choice here, and that's Texas Tech's middle linebacker, number 10, Jacob Rodriguez. Not only is he the highest-graded linebacker, not only is he the highest-graded defensive player, he is the highest-graded football player, offense or defense.
Whoa, wait a minute. Tate Sandell. Don't forget about him.
No, field goals are one thing, but you know what Jacob Rodriguez does too? He scores touchdowns.
That's true.
See that? He's got a couple rushing touchdowns too, but a 93.3 overall grade, 95.6 run defense grade, 92.4 coverage grade. Let's just run down just some of the box score things, right? 3 pass breakups, 4 interceptions, 7 forced fumbles, 114 total tackles, 5 pressures, 1 sack, and the 2 rushing touchdowns. It just felt like, of course, until the conference title game when Ben Roberts had to steal all the thunder, anytime we watched Texas Tech this year, Jacob Rodriguez, it was just constant. It felt like he's just constantly around the football, whether it's making big hits, stopping the run. You remember the interception late in the game against Utah, just outstanding stuff. I mean, so many moments for Jacob Rodriguez, and he was so consistent all season. You want to know how you get to grade that high? All season, we talk about 60 being the baseline, right, of, okay, this is where your positive, negative impact. He only had 1 grade all year below a 60, and that was a 59.9. So literally, he was at least at the baseline or better in most of his games. I mean, you just look at it. I think it's 7 different games here, 8 different games here with at least an 80 PFF grade.
Crazy.
It was every single week with Rodriguez. He's the heart and soul. The defensive line is great. The offense has been outstanding, but Jacob Rodriguez is the heart and soul of this Texas Tech football team, the leader of it. And not only is he the intangible leader, he makes plays every single week and big impact plays too. He really has been, you could easily argue, and I think these awards are well deserved, the best defensive player in college football. It's just been unbelievable to see the impact on the ball that he makes every single week.
He's the highest run defense grade in the country and the highest coverage grade in the country for all players, not even just linebackers, all players in America. So it's crazy, man. 7 forced fumbles, most in the country. 4 interceptions, most among all linebackers. 65 defensive stops are tied for the most in the Power 4 too. I mean, just what this guy did I personally would have made Rodriguez a Heisman finalist alongside Sayan, Mendoza, and Pavia. Jeremiah Love's very deserving of it too, but I think Rodriguez is one of the all-time linebacker years that we ever saw in college football. I think it's up there like Manti Te'o and stuff like that too, man. Just what he did this year at Texas Tech is just stupid. And like Dalton said, the highest-graded player in college football, offense or defense, is Jacob Rodriguez.
And 64 total stops as well. You want to talk about, is it just the forced fumbles and those types of plays? No, it's consistently making plays on the ball. 64 stops is the most of any Power 4 linebacker in the country as well.
Yep. All right. Finally, of course, the big one. The Heisman Trophy and also the Maxwell Award given out to the same thing. That's just the best player in college football. Jacob Rodriguez was a very good candidate for this award, but we had to go with Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza. He is the PFF Heisman Trophy winner, and most likely on Saturday night will be the actual Heisman Trophy winner. He led the Hoosiers to a 13-0 record this year, which included a Big Ten title for the first time since the 60s, and also the first number 1 ranking for Indiana in program history as they head into the college football playoff. 33 touchdown passes, lead the nation. 126.7 passer rating, is second in the nation to Julian Sayin. And Fernando Mendoza, he saved his best for last against Julian Sayin in that Big Ten title game. A career high 92.3 PFF grade for Mendoza against Ohio State in that Big Ten title game. He most likely will be Indiana's first ever Heisman Trophy winner.
90.6 PFF grade, top 6 mark in the country, 21 big-time throws, only 9 turnover-worthy plays when he had at least 15 in each of the last 2 years, so really improved the ball security as well. And then you just think about the times when they needed him most that he came through. The Iowa win on the road, the Oregon win on the road, the Penn State win on the road, obviously arguably the moment of the season between him and Omar Cooper with the catch that he made, and then just the 3 big-time throws to me that he made against Ohio State that really flipped that game in Indiana's favor. It was ugly, it was a low-scoring game, but Mendoza was at his best when he needed to be, and he racked up numbers that are very similar to the other guys in the running for this award. So I think it is well-earned, man. I mean, he earned it really the last week. I think it was very close. You and I liked Julian Sayin. Diego Pavia is an extremely worthy candidate, obviously, but that last win against Ohio State and the way he played in that game, I think it did put it over the top for him.
Yep, Mendoza wins the PFF Heisman, most likely will win the actual Heisman this Saturday night. All right, we're going to get into the All-American team for PFF in just a second. I want to talk more about DraftKings before this, though. The PFF betting segment is brought to you by DraftKings Pick 6. So we have a couple of bowl games this weekend. I want to talk about the Army-Navy game that we have this weekend, too. One of the best rivalries that we have in college football. And Dalton, dare I say, I kind of like the over 37.5. It's usually a low-scoring game, but you have 2 of the 35 highest-graded offenses in the country and 2 of defenses that are outside the top 115 in defensive grade, too. So I know it's always a low-scoring game, but I kind of like the over 37.5 this year.
And Navy's offense has been really good with Blake Horvath at the helm for a second straight year. And then, look, ever since Army put Cale Helms in at quarterback halfway through the season, they've been a lot better offensively as well. The one thing is if Army's going to slow the game down, maybe, but you know what? It was over 30. It was well over 37.5 last year. The game was 31-13 last year. So even though it was one-sided, it got there. This could be a fast-paced game between 2 teams with struggling defenses.
All you need is, a 21-17 final score, and you hit the over in that game too. So I think the over might be a good bet to cash this week in the Army-Navy game. But every yard, every sack, every interception, and every touchdown with Pick 6, DraftKings' newest game, every snap can turn into a big-time payout. This isn't just watching the game. This is playing to win. And here's how it works. Pick more or less on 2 or more player stats, and the better your picks, the bigger your payout. It's that simple. Pick 6 gives you more upside than any of those other pick'em sites, and it's available in most states, including Texas, California, Georgia, Missouri, and more. Go bold, go big, and start stacking wins with Pick 6 from DraftKings, where every pick can pay off huge. And here's the kickoff bonus. New DraftKings customers get $50 in Pick 6 credits with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. You know the game. Now make it pay. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code PFF. That's code PFF. Play just $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Make the call. Ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Ends December 2nd at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. All right. Done with the awards now. Let's get into the official PFF All-American team. Starting off, of course, with quarterback Fernando Mendoza. Won our Heisman Trophy. He, of course, will be the first team quarterback for PFF. At running back, of course, Doak Walker Award winner Jeremiah Love. At wide receiver, the Biletnikoff Award winner Mekhi Lemon. Also at wide receiver, Jeremiah Smith, the wide receiver at Ohio State. Tight end, the John Mackey Award winner, of course, Eli Stowers from Vanderbilt. And how about this, Dalton? True freshman at flex, Malachi Toney from Miami.
Boy, what I'll tell you what, I actually want to talk about that last guy there, Malachi Toney. How about third in the nation in receiving grade? How about tied for second in missed tackles forced after the catch? Miami's really centered a lot of their offense down the stretch here around the true freshman sensation, Malachi Toney. We're going to see more of him, at least for one game in the playoff, going into Texas A&M, and he's going to have to be a big focus for them. He's been outstanding, a versatile player, really good in the slot, crafty route runner. We've seen it ever since the first game when Miami beat Notre Dame, and that's what got them into the playoff right at the end of this all here. But Malachi Toney, what a revelation he's been down there in Coral Gables. You know what? I wanted to ask you something because I was thinking about we're gonna next week get into some film breakdowns for a couple of these playoff games. And I was thinking about what to do for Miami, Texas. Should it be Malachi Toney? Should we do a Malachi Toney breakdown? That might be the idea. I was just thinking of that now.
I was thinking Miami's O-line against Texas A&M's D-line could be fun because that's elite against elite.
That could be fun too, but they use Toney in so many different ways, and they center so many things.
I like it.
Maybe that'll be we're gonna do a little bit of Ty Simpson against Oklahoma in that rematch. We're gonna get that going next week. We'll break that down for you guys. But I think maybe Malachi Toney's the answer. I've been thinking about what to do for Miami A&M. I think that might be it. And you know what? Fitting enough that he's on your All-American team here because he's been one of the best players in the country.
I'll tell you what. I would almost lock it in right now. He's going to be my number 2 receiver going into next year behind Jeremiah Smith.
I can see it.
This kid's special, man.
Yep.
This kid's special. Not a single drop this year on 84 catchable targets and leads the Power 4 with 623 yards after the catch. Also has 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown this year, too. Again, second among all receivers in the country in PFF grade as well. So he's been elite. Jeremiah Smith, of course, has been elite as well, too. 89.8 receiving grade, 11 receiving touchdowns. Both of those are 5th in the country. Also 3rd in the Power 4 with 1,086 receiving yards, too. So Jeremiah Smith, Malachi Toney, we're right there for the Biletnikoff Award, but we went with Mekhi Lemon for that award.
Yeah, no, I mean, just a stacked group of players. Those 3 receivers, I would take them on the same team any day of the week. Jeez.
Definitely. All right, let's get to the All-American offensive line that we have. And spoiler, ton of Iowa Hawkeyes on this list. Could have been all 5, honestly. But how about this? Carter Smith, left tackle from Indiana. Bo Stevens, the left guard from Iowa. Logan Jones, the center from Iowa. Cade Pieper, the right guard from Iowa. And Keegan Trost, the right tackle from Missouri. Dalton, we really could have had Trevor Locke and Jennings Dunker on this list, too. They would have been probably 2nd and 3rd team members if they were on it, too. This offensive line from Iowa is so good. And the fact that the 3 best interior offensive linemen in the country, the best left guard, right guard, and center, all come from the same school is ridiculous stuff.
Yeah, boy, they make offensive line coaches everywhere proud, especially, or you talk about even former players, man. You think about a guy like Tristan Wirfs, man. That's an offensive line factory they have up there in Iowa City. It's just insane. But let's talk about the one guy of those 5 that we really haven't mentioned yet, right? Talk about Carter Smith, the left tackle for Indiana. One of the more underrated reasons for Indiana being even better this year than they were last year is that their pass protection has been even better than it was last year. I think you even saw that a little bit in this game against Ohio State, the Big Ten title game. But Carter Smith, only 6 pressures allowed all year, all hurries. He hasn't allowed Mendoza. He hasn't been charged with a single hit or sack for Fernando or Alberto Mendoza, for that matter, in any of Indiana's games. second best pass blocking grade in the country behind Trey Zune from Texas A&M, and an 83.2 run blocking grade. Carter Smith, the left tackle for Indiana, a true star, and the reworking of that offensive line from last year's unit is really a big reason for why they're even better this year than last year.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been phenomenal at left tackle, being the blindside blocker for Fernando Mendoza this year, and he probably will be a day 2 pick in the NFL draft because of it. All right, let's get to the front seven. Another spoiler here, whole lot of Texas Tech Red Raiders in this front seven too. Best D tackle in the country for us, A.J. Holmes Jr. from Texas Tech. Right behind him, that was Caden McDonald from Ohio State. Edge rusher, David Bailey from Texas Tech. Another edge here, Ruben Bain Jr. from Miami. Linebacker, the best defensive player in the college football, Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech. And the other linebacker we gave to Sonny Styles from Ohio State too.
That's a pretty darn good set of football players. You got 3 guys from Tech. How about Holmes making that list, man? I mean,
he's a stud.
We talk so much about the big names that we've talked about all year. David Bailey, the best defensive end in the country this year. Romello Height's been great. Lee Hunter's been great inside. Then the linebackers like Jacob Rodriguez. But A.J. Holmes, what a year he's had. And then, man, I mean, Caden McDonald, one of the best run stoppers in the country. And how about, I know the hot name here is Arvell Reese there for Ohio State, but how about Sonny Styles being the guy there to make your All-American team? I mean, I feel like lately especially he's played his best football. I just think that Ohio State defense still not fun to play against. They lost that game 13-10, just like the Michigan game last year. It was not because of their defense. Sonny Styles all the way up to 7th in the nation in PFF grade among all qualified linebackers. He's just as good as Reese, man. He might even be a better pure linebacker at this point. He's had an unreal year, and if you're not talking about him enough and you're talking too much about Reese, you need to balance that out a little bit because Sonny's outstanding. He's been great all year.
You said 7th among all linebackers in the country, 2nd among all Power 4 linebackers behind only Jacob Rodriguez, too. And yeah, I mentioned A.J. Holmes Jr. This guy's not getting enough love right now, man. He actually has the most pressures among all Power 4 D tackles with 34 pressures this year. And also, 88.3 run defense grade is tied for 2nd in the nation behind only Caden McDonald. So he's been a dominant run defender and pass rusher for the Red Raiders this year.
So let me get this right. So he leads all Power 4 D tackles in pressures. David Bailey leads all edge rushers in pressures. And Romello Height, let's see, he's 4th among Power 4 edge rushers in pressures. That's just, I mean, again, I mentioned it before, you don't have to blitz. I mean, it makes Jacob Rodriguez's life a lot easier. He can just drop back and read all his coverage keys. You don't have to worry about blitzing or getting extra pressure. Those guys are going to get it. And Lee Hunter's obviously really good too. They're going to be a real problem. And I'll tell you what, we'll see if we get there. Still got the game to play. But if we get this Texas Tech front seven against Oregon's offensive line in the second round of this playoff,
yeah,
what a battle we're going to see there.
So we're not going to go over the conference teams, but we will be putting those out on PFF.com. For anyone wondering,
is it the entire thing?
It's almost the entire thing. D tackle A.J. Holmes Jr. for all Big 12. D tackle A.J. Holmes Jr., Lee Hunter, the other D tackle, David Bailey, Romello Height, Jacob Rodriguez, and Jake Golday, the Cincinnati linebacker, just barely edged out Ben Roberts. It almost was an entirely Texas Tech front seven for my all Big 12 team.
Unbelievable. Were there players in the secondary too?
I believe, yeah, Bryce Pollock I put in there.
Man, what a unit they built, man.
That's
what a unit they built, and most of it through the portal.
Six of the 11 defensive players in my all Big 12 team are from Texas Tech.
And if you had made a second team, you'd probably get the other 5.
And also, I believe I don't want to say guarantee, but I believe there's talk that Skylar Gill-Howard might be on track to make a playoff appearance.
I mean, he's got till the end of this month. He's got 3 weeks to go.
If you're adding that kid in, I mean, I don't know what you do with that.
Oh no, they're a defense. We've said it the last couple weeks now. Not only are they really good, and I know obviously the Big 12, ACC, some of those teams get disrespect. This defense, they can play with anybody, not just the Big 12, because they're by far the best defense in the Big 12. They can play with Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia. Their defense can play with anybody in the country.
Yep. Real quick, Ruben Bain Jr., 93 grade, tied with David Bailey for the best in America. Only Power 4 edge rushers, only Power 4 edge rusher, I should say, with top 10 grades in the country as a pass rusher and run defender. So even though not quite the midseason Heisman Trophy winner that we had a few weeks ago, he has still been phenomenal this year. He's still a first-team All-American for us at PFF this year. All right, let's get to the secondary now for our All-American team. At cornerback, Leonard Moore from Notre Dame. Other corner, Mansour Delane from LSU. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, the safety from Toledo. Bishop Fitzgerald, the safety from USC. And the flex spot, we gave it to Chris Johnson, the cornerback from San Diego State.
No, I mean, you want talent. You want first-round level talent there. Leonard Moore, first of all, you talked about best corner, I should say, in the country. Mansour Delane in the year, the turnaround that LSU's secondary had from the last couple of years, he's worthy of a first-round pick all of a sudden. And then the two highest-graded safeties in the country, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren from Toledo, Bishop Fitzgerald from USC. Fitzgerald with 5 interceptions this year, McNeil-Warren with 2 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions, 4 pass breakups. I mean, impact players you're talking about every single week. I really like the inclusion of those 2 safeties because 2 teams that, especially defensively, yes, Toledo's really good, but they're also in the MAC, and a lot of people don't think about it. And then you don't really think about USC's defense along those lines, right? But Fitzgerald has been outstanding alongside Kamari Ramsey in that secondary. Needs some work in the front 7 there still at USC, but the secondary was really good, and Fitzgerald was a huge part of that. Yeah,
Mansour Delane, phenomenal this year. 26.7 passer rating allowed is the best mark among all Power 4 corners. Only a 37% completion rate allowed this year, too. He's going to be a top 15 pick because of how dominant he was this year. McNeil-Warren, only safety in the country who has 90-plus grades in run defense and in coverage this year. You mentioned the 5 picks for Bishop Fitzgerald. And Chris Johnson, man, I want to shout him out, too, because I usually fill out my All-American team with mostly Power 4 players because of the increased competition level. But Chris Johnson was so good this year, I had to throw him in here, honestly. 16.1 passer rating allowed by Chris Johnson, best in the country, 4 interceptions, and only a 42% catch rate allowed. Also has the best coverage grade among all corners in the nation this year with a 92.8 coverage grade.
18 catches allowed for 185 yards the entire season. 12 games, had San Diego State in contention for a Mountain West title, lost out on some of those tiebreakers at the end, but 4 interceptions, 5 pass breakups, a forced fumble. He's got really good size. This is somebody you're also going to hear about in the coming months with the upcoming NFL draft. That San Diego State defense was a lights-out unit all year, and Chris Johnson was the biggest reason for it in the secondary.
Like I said, both he and McNeil-Warren, group of 5 players, yes, but both of them are probably going to be second-round picks in the NFL draft because of how amazing both of them were this year. All right, not Chris Johnson, the East Carolina running back, although he would kill to have that kind of career in the NFL too, though.
True, and not Chris Johnson Jr., who is not the son of that Chris Johnson, the running back from SMU either. It's just a common name we got.
It's a common name. But common name. All studs, though. All studs.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get to the special teams that we have right now. Tate Sandell, mentioned before, the Oklahoma kicker. Billy Gowers, mentioned him before too, the Hawaii punter. Caden Weechin, the Iowa return specialist. The special teamer is Micah Gifford from Baylor, not Baylord. That might have been my fault in the document. And then the long snapper. How about this, Dalton? Yeah, they went 0-12. Sure. Yeah, they're the worst team in the country. Sure. But UMass has the best long snapper in college football with Giovanni Bourbon right there.
Love that. Love that. Please tell you got the numbers and you got some long snapper numbers for us.
Do.
I know you always got them. That's my favorite thing we do here is we get the long snapper in the All-American team.
81.9 PFF grade, okay. Best among all long snappers in the country. On 101 long snaps this year, only 2 bad snaps on 101 attempts. Giovanni Bourbon, I'm telling you, listen, I know they're the worst team in the country. Nobody was watching UMass football this year, but UMass Minutemen have the best long snapper in college football right now.
You'll take that. And then shout out to Gifford. How about over a 90 special teams grade for Baylor for the 2nd straight season? You know what? Sometimes you see those special teams gunners and things like that getting drafted late in the draft just for that very reason. Man, oh man. I mean, hell, guys trying to be the next Matthew Slater, right? Make all those Pro Bowls as a special teamer. He was outstanding this season as well, defensively, filling in for a little over 100 snaps. Actually played a lot of snaps in their last game against Houston. But no, I mean, you're talking about that. It's my favorite part of what we do. When we get these special teamers in here, we go, okay, who's really making those contributions in the third phase? Because it matters, right? Even when you talked about Weechin in the return game, or earlier when we had Concepcion win the Horning Award and what he did as a punt returner, that can flip the game around, man. So it's really a lot of fun to see those guys there get recognized for that third phase.
Definitely. All right, that wraps up the All-American team for us here at PFF. Also, want to remind you guys, too, that we're going to have more teams drop on the website. I put together an all-freshman team, making the all best true freshmen in college football this year. Obviously, all SEC, all Big Ten, all ACC, all Big 12, all group of 6 teams are coming out on PFF.com, too. So you want to see those, check out the website at PFF.com. Also, want to tell you guys right now, we are making an ESPN Capital One Bowl Mania group we actually should be the link in the description. The winner of that group wins a free year of PFF Plus, a free year of PFF Plus. All you got to do is for free, join the group, pick every bowl game, pick every playoff game, and whoever gets the most right at the end of the year, or at the end of the bowl season, I should say, will win a free year of PFF Plus. Both Dalton and I already have our ballots in there into that group. Join that group right now. Again, it's free. There's no cost to you. Just make your picks. I think there's like 46 games you got to pick. Make those picks, and you could win a whole free year of PFF Plus too.
Yeah, no, going to be a lot of fun. And those bowl games can be wild and unpredictable, and there's a lot of research that goes into them. So we did it last year. We had a lot of fun with it. Let's do it again.
Absolutely. Yeah, join that group right now. The first bowl games are this Saturday. So we have a few days to join the group right now. Make those picks. I believe you can pick games up until kickoff of each game, but you have to be in by the first Saturday of the bowl season. So again, this Saturday is the first 2 games of bowl season. Join the group right now. Make your picks right now, and you could win a free year of PFF Plus too. So make sure you guys join that group in the link at the description below too. But that wraps up our All-American team and the PFF awards for this season. This Friday, we have a mock draft coming out for you guys. And then, of course, next week, we get into our full previews for the college football playoff first round game on Tuesday. But we'll see you guys on Friday with our next mock draft for the 2026 NFL Draft. For our producers back there, and Tyler and Eli, for Dalton Wasserman, I'm Max Chadwick. Again, see you guys Friday going over our next mock draft for the 2026 NFL Draft.